A few nights ago, I went to my first hardcore punk show in quite a long time. While I expected the calls for blood in the streets and death to cops, something one of the performers said at the end of the night really caught my attention for how incredibly poignant it was. We must dissolve the borders and boundaries between us and our collective human potential, or something like that. I really sympathize with the sentiment he was expressing here. Laws, borders, social norms, all of these can get in the way of human beings becoming what they could be. They've certainly gotten in my way more times than I can count. However, I don't think those who proclaim dissolution of norms and boundaries as a fundamental value understand exactly how deep that rabbit hole goes. Simply put, what about the boundaries between individuals? Trauma is a trigger for psychological transformation. When your worldview and your sense of self shatter, it forces you to self-reflect and put the pieces back together as something new, as someone stronger, deeper, and more resilient. So clearly, we should traumatize each other as much as possible, right? It's our tendency as social animals to respect and care for those in our social circle, but isn't this a boundary between those people and the potential for them to be transformed into something greater? Now, I'm not saying this is an incoherent philosophy, but the guitarist was wearing a t-shirt that said "Protect Trans Kids," so I know they at least believe in protecting people from harm at some level. So, okay, some punk said something that oversimplified the nature of the world, like that's never happened before, right? But this is more than that. As I said before, the complete dissolution of boundaries is not an incoherent statement of purpose. It really does make sense if you only care about human beings becoming more powerful as a collective. Abuse between human beings creates psychological resilience. War between human beings creates systems of power. Tyranny of government creates shared stories of oppression that unite us into a rebellion. Revolution of government creates shared stories of rebellions that unite us into tyrannies of our own. This constant push and pull of power is very real. It's very coherent. It's very well studied. It is very well understood by the people running the world at present. It is very well participated in by those who are running the world at present by definition of what it means to run the world. That is the problem I have with the statement of that singer. Dissolve all boundaries is not just an oversimplification of rebellion. It is an active submission to the philosophy of power animating the worst aspects of our world's governments at present. Whether it's the blood of immigrants in the streets or the blood of cops, the spilling of blood is a dissolution of a boundary. It is the empowerment of collective man. To spill blood is to participate in the dissolution of the boundary between ourselves and our collective human potential. While I believe this is true, if taken as the highest truth, you get a death cult.